The sun rises slowly over the cliffs and plains of prehistoric Earth. It's quiet. No engines, no phones, no rush. Just the soft sounds of birds calling, wind brushing over tall grass, and water trickling nearby. In a shallow cave nestled at the edge of a forest, a small group of early humans stirs awake. Their shelter is simple, a curved rock overhang lined with leaves and dried grasses for bedding. The walls of the cave are smudged with ochre markings and handprints, reminders of evenings spent quietly painting stories by firelight. Their day begins slowly. No alarms, just light, warmth, and instinct. The air smells of stone, ash, and earth. Someone yawns and stretches. Another reaches for a small flint knife, still wrapped in bark string. They rise not to go to work, but to gather, to observe, and to live. There is no table, no toast, no kettle on the boil. Instead, breakfast is whatever can be found, preserved, or remembered from the night before. A woman with quick fingers pulls away a bark-wrapped bundle from a ledge. Inside are gathered roots, softened from cooking over embers. Nearby, a child chews slowly on dried berries, stained fingers poking at a curious beetle crawling across a stone. Water is gathered in carved gourds or shells. Some of it is rainwater, some collected from a nearby stream, filtered through moss. Drinking is slow and measured. Water is precious. Food is shared without ceremony, but with care. Those who eat are also looking outward, toward the forest, the rocks, the movement of animals. Every moment is half awareness, half stillness. You can almost hear the quiet chewing, the soft drip of water, the bird call echoing through distant trees. Once the sun lifts above the trees, it's time to prepare for the tasks ahead. There are no machines, no apps, just clever fingers and ancient knowledge. Stone tools are checked and sharpened. A man squats beside a rock, striking flint against flint to create a sharp edge, his eyes steady, his movements rhythmic. Nearby, someone else works on weaving, twisting dried grasses and bark fibers into strong, usable cord. Bone needles, shell scrapers, wooden digging sticks. Each tool tells a story of use and survival. There are no written instructions, but learning happens through watching. A child sits beside her mother, silently copying the way she twists grass. No words, just quiet understanding passed down like breath. As the light softens, our little group begins to move outward. There are no paths, only memories. The land is familiar in the way a mother knows her child's face. Every bend in the stream, every mossy rock or fallen log, these are the bookmarks of a world they've walked through countless times. The walk is not a chore. It is quiet, purposeful, and slow. Each step is placed with care, not to make noise, not to startle the forest. They don't charge ahead, they flow. The women lead the way, scanning the forest floor, Their eyes catch the glint of mushrooms, the lacy tops of edible ferns, the dark purple of ripe berries. One woman stops, kneels, and brushes soil away from a patch of tubers. Her fingers are practiced. Another stands still, her eyes on a deer trail. She sees the soft break in branches and the muddy print of a hoof. In this world, tracking is a kind of reading. The forest is the book, and they are fluent in its language. A young boy plucks a leaf and bites it gently, testing its bitterness. His older sister shakes her head and pulls it from his hand. Not that one. She points to another nearby, safer. Their baskets slowly fill, not in haste, but with rhythm. Acorns, wild onions, mushrooms like folded cloth. They move together, pausing often, listening always.
In an open space near the river, the children gather. Not for school, not for instruction, but for curiosity. They don't need toys in the modern sense. The forest gives them everything. Sticks become spears. Stones are shaped into pretend knives. Leaves are used to carry pretend berries. Their games mirror the world around them. They mimic their parents, crouching in mock hunts, hiding behind trees, whispering plans in a language that's part words, part laughter. There are no formal lessons, but there is always learning. A child learns how to walk silently by copying an older cousin. She learns the sound of safe birdsong from a grandfather's hum. The rhythm of walking barefoot over stone becomes as familiar as breath. Sometimes they sit and watch the adults. Other times they climb trees or skip stones across the water. The air is filled with soft sounds, chatter, giggles, splashes, and the occasional serious face of a child who believes he has just invented the wheel by rolling a round rock down a hill.
There are no calendars, no clocks, no apps to check the weather, but the sky is an open book, and they have learned to read it well. As afternoon deepens, a few elders sit on a high ridge overlooking the valley. Their eyes are lifted, not toward prey, but toward the shifting clouds. They notice things modern eyes have forgotten: the color of twilight, the smell of rain before it arrives, the shape of a bird's flight that signals the coming cold. They know when the moon will rise full, when it will vanish. They know the time of year not from dates, but from shadows, buds, and the movement of stars. A girl sits beside one elder who points slowly, not speaking, just showing. The cloud is thin, the wind steady. That means tomorrow will be dry. He lifts her hand and moves it like the arc of the sun. These aren't myths or magic. They're quiet science taught by looking, year after year. As the sun leans low, the village slows. Not every hour is filled with effort. Some are left for rest. Under the shade of a wide tree, a man sits and slowly carves a piece of bone. His knife moves gently, shaping it into a smooth point. Nearby, another draws patterns in the dirt with a stick, circles, spirals, lines that perhaps mean something, or perhaps are just for thinking. A woman hums softly, untangling a length of sinew to use for thread. Her baby sleeps beside her on a bed of leaves. No one is in a rush. Time stretches out like the shadows on the grass. Some people sleep in the warm patch near the fire. Others simply sit and listen to the birds. This, too, is part of survival: quiet, peace, the space for thought. The soundscape is soft, a scraping tool, a bird's trill, a breeze in tall grass. It's the soundtrack of a world without noise. As dusk wraps the trees in velvet, firelight flickers to life. The people return to the cave, the fire circle, the heart of their shelter. The day's sounds soften, replaced by the crackle of flames and the hush of wind outside. This is the time of stories. An elder with white-flecked hair leans forward, eyes glinting with warmth. His voice is low and slow. Around him, children nestle against parents. A few teens try to look unimpressed, but their eyes don't leave the storyteller. The stories aren't written, they're remembered, passed down. A deer that escaped with magic, a star that sang a song, a great fire from long ago that no one ever forgot. There is laughter sometimes, soft gasps other times, but never shouts, never fear. These are bedtime stories, not to thrill, but to connect. A lull of silence falls between tales, and no one minds. The fire speaks, too, in its own language. A little later, after stories, some remain by the fire. Others slip into the rear of the cave. There, in the flickering torchlight, the walls tell a different kind of story. Shapes appear. Deer with wide antlers, hands pressed in pigment, spirals, dots, running animals. Some images are bold, others faint with age, all made with care. One figure crouches near the wall, blowing red ochre through a reed onto their hand. It leaves a ghostly print, part message, part signature. Why do they paint? No one knows for certain. Maybe to teach, maybe to remember, maybe for beauty alone. What's clear is the hush around them. No one speaks. The act is sacred. It feels like a whisper to the future. On some days, the rain comes without warning. A sudden hush over the land, then a patter, then a pour. No panic, just a shifting of tasks. Inside the cave, people gather closer. Wet furs are hung near the fire. Water collects outside in bowls. Someone mends a tear in a hide. Another scrapes a skin smooth for tanning. A child lays on their stomach, drawing in ash with a stick. The rain drums a gentle rhythm on stone. Outside, the world fades to mist. Inside, it is warm and slow and safe. People do not rush through rainy days. They welcome them like a rest. Eventually, the fire dims. Voices fall to whispers. People curl beside one another. Families, friends, lone dreamers. Animal hides are pulled close. Babies sleep in crooks of arms. There are no pillows, no blankets, just earth, fur, and warmth. Outside, the stars wheel in silence. Inside, breath slows. They sleep not as escape, but as return, a homecoming to the inner world. And maybe, just maybe, they dream, like we do, of walking through tall grass, of faces from long ago, of the soft light of morning that waits on the other side of night.